Okay, we're on version 11.3.4. We're going to do a test today of primarily two-lane roundabouts. There are two versions currently out, which is 11.3.4 and 11.3.5. They seem to be exactly the same, with the exception that 11.3.5 is specifically for those cars that do not have the ultrasonic sensors, and it has the software necessary to try to emulate what the ultrasonic sensors would do. The 11.3.4 is for those cars that have the ultrasonic sensors, and it uses them in the traditional manner. My car is an older one. It's a 2021, and as such it has the ultrasonic sensors, so we received 11.3.4. Okay, we're going to do two-lane roundabouts. This has given Tesla and FSD a challenge constantly from day one. The problem is it has a very difficult time completing a two-lane roundabout without breaking the law. And the reason is, let me imagine, for example, that it wasn't a roundabout. It was simply an intersection. And you're coming into this intersection, two lanes on the right side and two lanes coming towards you on the left side, and you want to turn right. Which lane would you use to enter the intersection? Obviously, you would be in the right-hand lane because you can't turn right from the left lane once you're in the intersection. If you wanted to go straight, you could be in either the right lane or the left lane, and either one could go straight. If you wanted to turn left, obviously you have to enter the intersection from the left lane. You couldn't go in from the right lane and then turn left while in the intersection. And if you wish to make a U-turn, you obviously would also need to enter from the left lane, because you can't make a U-turn from the right lane. So imagine that a two-lane roundabout is nothing but an intersection. In fact, the state of Florida very specifically designates two-lane roundabouts as intersections, and all laws that apply to the intersection apply to a two-lane roundabout. As such, you can't cross lanes inside an intersection in the state of Florida, and you cannot cross lanes inside a two-lane roundabout once you are in it. Okay. Okay, we're coming down here, and we're going to take a left here at the stop sign. Okay, we're coming to a complete stop as required by NHTSA. It then creeps out, and then it proceeds to turn. Little hesitancy on the left-hand turns, just like before in 10.69. Okay, I'm going to make it full screen now. And one of the first things you're going to notice is that the red lines that were so traditional in FSD are now gone, showing the designated limits as to what the drivable area was. Now we just simply have gray markers as to the right-hand lane. So far so good, about the same as it was before. Nice curve. This is a very curvy and windy road, so it used to tend to turn on the turn signals around these curves. So far it hasn't, but maybe I'm speaking too soon. We'll see. The other thing you're going to notice is that the planting line is not a little bitty line anymore. It takes up the full length of the car. I like that because you can actually see the path that the car is planning on taking. Okay, now we're coming up to Belvedere, and this is a challenge because, as I've mentioned many times, this is a blind left turn, and it has to creep out. But the problem in the past is it's crept out too far and kind of sits there in the golf cart lane, and if there's a golf cart coming, then of course it is blocking it at that point. We'll see what it does this time. Hopefully there's not too much traffic.
Now turn left onto Belvedere Boulevard.
Okay, car turning in. There's a car coming from my right. Okay, it is creeping forward. It's going to wait for this car to come. Okay, that's good. It's not in the golf cart lane. Now go ahead. You're in the golf cart lane. There we go. All right, that wasn't too bad. A little more hesitancy than I wished. I am going to have to take it out here. And the reason is because it still does not recognize these gates and would go crashing through it. Okay, I'm going to re-engage. There's a mapping error and it tends to slow down to 20 miles an hour. Let's see if it still does that. Yes, it does. So I'm going to have to, oh, it changed it almost immediately to 30. So let me put it back to 30. Okay. All right, now we're coming up onto 466. And this is a very tricky right-hand lane because it has cross lines, which the FSD doesn't see until the last moment. See, it's now going to see the cross lines. Now it's moving over. Now it's, whoa.
Turn right onto County Road 466.
It has totally screwed up. Okay, I've got to take over. All right, we are in a left turn only, and it tried to then get into the center lane in order to turn right. Okay, I'm going to have to take over at this point. I do not know what that was. That was horrible. Once it saw the cross grids, it then violently moved over and got into the left lane, totally confused. Okay. All right, it is going to go ahead and turn here. Let's see how it's going to correct itself.
Make a U-turn at Buffalo Trail to stay on County Road 466.
We should be heading in the other direction, so this should be interesting. Okay, it's going to get in this lane.
U-turn at Buffalo Trail.
Surely it can't do a U-turn on its own. Okay, I'm going to have to take over. It can't do this maneuver. It tried to get into the other lane there. Okay. It's in a situation where it tried to make a U-turn, but then realized that it couldn't. Okay, I'm going to manually make this U-turn. Okay, I'll now re-engage. All right, we should just go straight now. All right, now it's getting into the left lane. That's fine. Okay, we're stopping for this red light. That was actually very smooth. To be honest with you, I was totally blinded by the sun. We're heading due east at this point, and I could honestly not see the color of the light until the last moment. But it did fine. Again, it's stopping in an appropriate amount of time. Okay, now we have a green light and we are proceeding. I must say we're not off to a very good start at this point. Okay, we've got a yellow light coming up. The car in front of us is slowing down. We're slowing down appropriately. I do like the indications of what it's doing. They generally appear right up here if you watch the screen, and it'll tell you that it's either creeping or it's stopping for a light or whatever the case may be. Now in the past it's tried to get into this left turn lane, which is the wrong one, and then corrected itself at the last moment. We'll see if it goes right on through it. Okay, we're coming up on another light. I guess if there's a lead car, it doesn't say that it's stopping for the light. It only does it if it is the lead car. So it didn't try to get into that left lane, so that is an improvement there. Okay, we're now proceeding. Okay, now we are going to be getting into a left turn lane here very shortly.
In 500 feet, turn
Okay,
left
blinker is
onto
now
Buena
on.
Vista Boulevard.
Slowing down a little bit for the lead car.
Now turn left onto Buena Vista Boulevard.
Now at this particular turn, it does the turn fine. It gets into the left lane, and I prefer to get it to the right lane. So very typically, I will turn my blinker on so to force it into the right lane so as not to be inconsiderate to other drivers. But one of the things it does do, we have a mapping error, and it slows down to 20 miles per hour, and I don't understand why. And I have to give it some accelerator in order to get it up to 35, and then it will then see the 35 mile an hour speed zone and then correct itself. Okay, we're now proceeding. Okay, it's going into the left lane. I'm going to force it to the right. Notice how it went down to 20 miles an hour and now it's back up to 35. So I did have to give it some accelerator so as not to inconvenience the people behind us. We're coming up to an interesting traffic signal here. It actually, you don't see it until you round a curve. It has handled this one very nicely in the past. We'll see what it does this time. You can just barely see the traffic signal. Okay, it's stopping for the lead car. But notice how until you rounded the curve itself, the traffic signal was not really that visible. Okay, there's a car parked, a work truck parked over here on the side of the road. It doesn't seem to pay any attention, so that's not a problem. Okay, it wants to get into the left turn lane. That is not good. But that's all right. I'll let it do its thing. We'll see if when we enter the roundabout, we're going to be entering from the left lane, and we're going to be going straight through the roundabout, which is permissible if because either the left lane or the right lane, either one can go straight.
The second exit.
Okay, roundabouts have a 20 mile an hour speed limit. We'll see how fast it tries to take, and it may have to disengage for that reason. Okay, we're approaching the roundabout. There's a car coming in on my right, so I've got to be careful here. Okay. All right, it's stopping. I'm having to accelerate a little bit. Okay, we're going through. Will it maintain the line? Yes, it is. It's trying to cross. I had to take it out. It tried to cross lanes in the middle of a roundabout. This is a 2-lane roundabout, and it has a really difficult time doing those. Okay, that was a failure. I just could not let it do that. There was a car coming in on my right, and we would have gone straight into the lane or the path of that car. One of the problems that it always has is it's been trained on single-lane roundabouts, not 2-lane roundabouts, and as a result, it thinks of the roundabout as a single lane roundabout, that it has the ability to use the entire lane. I'm going to move it over here to the right lane to get out of traffic. Okay, that one did not work well. All right, we're coming up on another one. We're supposed to go straight through. If it tries to get into the left lane, I will force it to stay in the right, and we'll enter it from the right lane. For a second there, I thought it was actually going to make it until it tried to cross at the last moment.
Take the second exit.
Okay. We are going through. We're not stopping. Okay, we're staying in the right lane so far. We're in the right lane. Stay in the right lane. Go on around. Okay, it made it through that one, and very nicely done. It stayed at 18 miles an hour, but when it came out of the roundabout, it was still at 18 miles an hour to 20 miles an hour max until it saw the sign. I wish it would remember that this is a 35 mile an hour zone, and once you're out of the roundabout, you can go ahead and start accelerating. But that one was successful. Could it be because I entered from the right lane? Well, we'll see. But just as a point of note, even in the past, when it failed all other roundabouts, it for some reason does that roundabout fairly well. It's possible that simply the line markings are better. I'm really not sure what the difference is.
In 1,000 feet, enter the roundabout and take the second exit.
Okay, so far it looks like it's still wanting to enter from the right lane, so we'll see. There's a car behind me. So again, I have to be careful. Okay, we're slowing down.
Enter the roundabout and take the second exit.
Okay, we're going on through. Nope. Okay. Same thing as it used to do before, and that is it failed to make the maneuver on the two-lane roundabout. It tried to go into the right lane and turn right instead of going straight through. Okay, it says that our our autopilot is unavailable at this point. I don't know if it thinks I did something wrong or what. So I'm going to have to come up here and take it out. Okay.
In 1,000 feet, enter the roundabout and take the first exit.
All right.
Now enter the roundabout and take the first exit.
Okay, I'm having to manually drive this one. Okay. Well, this is the one it was going to turn right on anyway, and it tends to do right-hand turns on the roundabouts well, so that would not have been a problem. Okay, that was not very successful. It basically, from what I've seen, it does exactly the same behavior that it has done in the past on 10.69 and earlier. So they've really made no improvement whatsoever in the two-lane roundabouts. So That was rather disappointing. We had the big error there at the very beginning where it saw the cross-grid lines in the right turn lane and did not go around them or through them for that matter, which it used to do in the past, and instead violently moved to the left and got into a left turn lane and then tried to get out of it. So we had a real problem there at the beginning. The rest of the drive was actually very good. I was very impressed with the smoothness and the interface that they have made improvements on. Those are very good things. In a later video, we'll do some other tests. I just wanted to see if they had done anything at all on the two-lane roundabouts. I have written an email to the FSD team asking them that now that version 11 is out, if they could put some effort on the two-lane roundabouts, and I'd be more than happy to help them out in sending the videos or whatever they need. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time.